Forgot to make this video earlier in the decade. And I'm not sure if you've heard of the 51st state of Jefferson movement, but what I want to add to that is the 52nd and the 53rd states of East and South Jefferson. And the purpose of all three states of Jefferson are to be on the southern border of California, the eastern border of California, and the northern border of California, because the Democrat politicians in the state of California, a few things. One, they don't represent the populace of California in many regions. Um, it's simply a voting block from other places. Let me give you an example. There's, I think, a 17% disparity between Republican and Democrat in Sacramento. Or maybe it's 23% disparity. I don't know the exact voting numbers. There's 12% more Democrats in Sacramento than there are in San Diego. I think we're something like 37 to like 43 or 40. Like, it's very close in San Diego. There are technically more Democrats registered to vote in San Diego, but in Sacramento, it's simply that there's 12% more voters, and they all registered voters, and they all vote Democrat. So there's many regions in California that are really full of more Republicans and don't have the views that our politicians have. So what I think would be right would be to cut Los Angeles off from its direct route from Mexico to Los Angeles. That's how so much of the crime happens. That's how so much of really what I mean, they try to couch everything in constitutional language and the American spirit, and it's anything but. If you look at the rest of the country, nobody has ever interpreted the Constitution the way our modern Democrat political leaders have been attempting to interpret it. They say that it means things that it just doesn't plainly mean in English, and it's perfectly evidenced by how it was at the most progressive, interpreted differently by the hearers of it, the first readers of it, than the first writers of it. The different amendments, the Constitution itself, you know, the adverse interpretation that goes against the writing of the writer themselves, if there's an ambiguity, is sort of an interpretive conceptuality across the board. Law, religion, philosophy, you name it. That's just a way that seems logical. Like, hey, if you're not going to be super clear and precise, and somebody else's interpretation of what you wrote is reasonable, you can't say that they did something unreasonable. But if something, it's unreasonable to say that an idea that is not even expressed by a single sole human on the face of the planet for another 200 something years is somehow the actual meaning of the original writing. So if we just kind of quarantined California away from the rest of the nation, I think you'd see a huge result in minimizing of one, illegal immigration, and just the power that California tries to leverage over the rest of the nation. I think people from other states, other regions that are all Republican already, should move here and be poor people in California just to live here, just to build our voting block in these regions, in the eastern part of the state and in the southern part of the state, so that we could actually build three new states here out of the borders of California. Not like what Silicon Valley wants. Those guys there, all they want is their liberal nonsense. I mean, this is a real, actual thing we could do. The probability of everybody mobilizing and doing this is next to zero. I mean, it's the most brilliant idea you've ever heard. And it's no one's ever going to follow it. And I'm safe in saying that because no one's ever going to follow it. But wouldn't it be awesome? Just dream for a moment of a quarantined liberal state of California bordered by the 51st, 2nd, and 3rd states of Jefferson, East Jefferson, and South Jefferson. It would be a thing of beauty. All right, that's my last video for the day.